So Dogman is an animated action comedy movie based on the popular children's book series and is actually a spin-off from 2017's Captain Underpants. Now for me, whilst it definitely is watchable and has got some charming moments in there, unfortunately it just didn't really work, as I just feel like it leaned way too much into the silliness and weirdness. But I do actually think that kids are going to love this movie, and on that point I do actually feel like it leans a little bit more, actually quite a lot more, into the kids' younger audience direction instead of an all ages one or even a more adults one. And I do actually feel like from an animated movie perspective, the ones that lean more towards an all ages and adults audience are actually way better. For example, Transformers 1, Sonic 3, Wild Robot, and the really underrated Tiger's Apprentice. Now what I do think that this movie does interestingly is that it's got 3 protagonists, as I really like the line from Sarah to Chief towards the end of this movie where she's like, look, all 3 of them are actually heroes, namely Dogman, Petey, and Young Petey. And from that perspective, I think it's really, really brilliant, as you could look at the movie from each one's point of view and view themselves as the hero. And I just love this, as literally every single person can relate to this, as they are the hero of their own particular story and other people are the villains. And underneath all of the layers of silliness and weirdness, this movie does actually have some really interesting topics and themes. For example, abandonment and how this can lead to some people going down the dark path. Unfit parents, some people can be redeemed and some people really cannot be redeemed. Should everybody be forgiven? And of course, loss. So I feel like if this movie was packaged differently, I think it could have been way more superior. And I do actually think that the voice acting in this movie is absolutely incredible. It really does bounce off the screen, in particular from Pete Davidson, Lil Rel Howery, who was absolutely formidable, and of course Ricky Gervais. I feel like all of them gave such incredible performances, and each one of their characters, you can really feel like they are so vivacious and so full of life. And even though overall this movie does deal with life and death, and especially the volcano scene towards the end of this movie is pretty terrifying, I do actually feel like the villains never really fully went there. And there were certain moments in this movie where it kind of just lost me. For example, when all of the buildings are just turning into real life characters and are just attacking everybody. And on that point, whatever happened to that scene where all these buildings are now suddenly going to attack the hero characters, because you only really see 1 versus 1. But I am in the minority though, as this movie has proven to be really successful, and I'm sure that it will lead to loads more spin-offs and sequels being produced. I just personally have an extremely high bar when it comes to animated productions, and I just wanted so much more from this movie, and especially from this character. I feel like Dogman is the title of this movie, and I feel like he is just sharing that, which is fine, but I just feel like as an individual character he could have contributed so much more. And so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give Dogman a 5 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear from you. What did you think of this movie? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.